it's getting started.
And we're clocking in.
We're clocking in. Holy shit. I'm deathly scared of doing like a whole podcast and then seeing like, holy shit, I didn't have the audio come through. Sorry, Barry McLean Jr. Oh, I appreciate I feel so bad, man. I had this awesome podcast on my other show, the DisJointed Podcast, last week, and I realized at the very end that none of my audio went through in the recording, so I had to go back and try to remember what I was talking about and throw that in there, and it just makes the whole podcast sound all freaking weird. But nice. Either way, we obviously are not doing that this time. Welcome back to the DisJointed Food Biz. I'm your host, Dave Germain.
With Thor Markey, as always.
Was shaking. Man, it's been a crazy week. This podcast, by the way, if you're just kind of stumbling across this, and we fell into some weird algorithm that you're like looking through like bitchy waiter stories and stuff. The DisJointed Food Biz is it's a show about the restaurant industry, not just about from the front of house point of view, but the back house point of view. Salary managers, hourly managers, anybody who's worked anywhere in the service industry. We're all about trying to discuss the issues that are affecting our business that has changed so rapidly over the past year or two. So you feel free to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter. We're at DFB Pod on Twitter. Email us if you have any questions at thedfbpod@gmail.com, or just hit us up in the chat room, man. So when we go live, but you definitely want to follow us because that's when we'll give the updates on when the show's going to be. So this week, I think a good place for us to start. Let me take this mic stand away. It's been kind of weird. One of the things that's been that I always go from a starting point before we do a show is to look at the many groups, the restaurant groups that we're a part of on various forms of social media. And one of our favorites on Facebook, actually, it was weird. I was a little surprised, and it was the topic was what do you do when a customer starts threatening you to take their business away, if you don't give them free shit. Which I was very surprised that they're like, yes, the moment you threaten my restaurant or threaten me, then all the offers are off the table. That's it. Give me the full price of the tab and get out, that type of thing.
I mean, that's pretty legit. That's kind of how I run, too. The minute you threaten me, it's over. Pay your tab and get out and don't come back.
If you don't do this, I'll never come back again.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. That's going to be 1842, please.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, have a nice day. Don't try walking out of here without it. I am that petty. I will call the cops on you. But and it's
you have to have that line as a manager, as an owner. If somebody goes to attack you like that or threaten you, it's no longer part of the service deal. They've definitely crossed that line, and you have to look. It's time. It's done. How many times you going to get into an argument with the wife or kids, and eventually you just got to be like, look, shut the fuck up. Yeah. All right? And that's basically what it comes down to. I mean, you start threatening a business or the person or whatever it is, pay your tab, get out, don't come back. Mm-hmm. Period.
Plenty of other restaurants around this town. Don't worry. I don't have to deal with you. You don't have to deal with me. That's the whole thing.
Well,
go your own way.
And, you shouldn't be known as, and yes, customer service, as much as I hate to say it, the guess is always right. Until
they're wrong.
They threaten.
Yep.
And, I can yes you all day. I can make you feel like a bundle of fucking flowers. But if you're going to threaten me and my business, why should I stroke you?
Yeah. Well, I think of it, and granted, I have a tendency to take shit way too far, by the way.
Yeah, I
know, right? If you can believe it. But my whole my feeling is that I think you're supposed to work hard for your money. I think you're supposed to work smart for your money. I don't think you should be begging for your money. And I don't think you should grovel for your money. I think I like to look at myself in the mirror every morning when I get up, and that's a habit that I've had for a long time. I want to be able to continue to do that. So if somebody's going to make me dance and beg for a tip and everything, then I'm like, no, then in that respect, I don't feel it's important for me anymore. I'm like, no, and that's a very,
I get that.
Right. But this is the thing, though, is that, and I'm not looking down on anybody who has done that, because I've worked for nice places, maybe $20 a plate restaurants, but I've never worked for something where it's $100 a plate or $500 a plate. That's a completely different scenario.
That's
I think.
Bend over and fuck me in my ass. Yes, you may.
Right. That's but then like those guys are making a lot more money than I do, and I don't know. And that's a different thing. That I mean, everybody has their reasons. I get that, but it was just for me in order to stay sane. That I'm like, okay, and yeah, there are going to be times. Let's say if I had to deal with like if there was an event that was like a $10,000 event,
look,
I'm not going to be so edgy. And
if I had $1,000 in my hand and I'm smacking you with it, you'll stand there and take it.
How much of it am I getting?
All of it.
I don't know.
Look, I'm married with kids. Groveling, pleading, begging. Yeah, that's my daily life.
It's like, all right, you're going to dance for it. I'm like, yes, but I'm going to make you feel really awkward about it. I'll find a way.
But no, you're absolutely right. There's certain tabs, certain aspects, certain sets of service where a lot of people feel like you. Okay? Personally, me, are the stakes higher if there's more money involved? No. Service is service. I don't care if you're fucking president of the United States or the janitor cleans the school bathroom. You're there for service. I should give you the best service that I can, regardless of what the price tag is.
No, that I agree with. Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody should, well, and I don't want this to sound fucked up, but everybody should feel like a king or a queen. Whether you spend a dime or $1 million. Doesn't matter. But there are a lot of people out there that show up and push that guest line. Because, and one of my favorite things in the world that I've heard, is the bad guest. And they're out there.
Yeah. They're few and far between than you would like to.
No, I mean, there's a lot more out there. I mean, think about your blue-collar server. Can I get some ketchup? They run, they come back. Can I get some water? They run, they come back. Can I get some ranch? They run, they come back. I need a to-go box. They run, they come back. Look, man, I don't know anybody that has been, if your parents were halfway decent, would treat anybody else like that. Right. You were taught better than that. I mean, come on, man. Equal rights and all this shit, you know better. And a bad customer will push that line to drive you. Do it all at once. I mean, but maybe it's different. We're in the industry. I know when I go to eat, I know what I want.
Yeah.
All right. I know I'm going to want salt, pepper, ranch, whatever the case may be. I know what I want before I start to eat my meal.
Yeah.
Because when I'm at home eating dinner, there's no fucking way in hell I'm getting up 50 times to fucking go get something.
Right.
And nobody else in this world would either. So, that's the bad customer.
I actually did say this once. Because it was a family, and there was a couple of teenagers there, and I know teenagers, like, we've all been there.
Young, dumb, and full of,
Right? So it was the same thing where I'm like, can I get another one of this? Can I get another one of that? And I'm keeping an eye out. I'm like, all right, let me get all the drinks for everybody at the same time. Let me get this. Okay, so it was like the third trip back, and I'm like, can I get some ranch? I'm like, absolutely. Who else would like some ranch?
Well, right.
I swear to God, because I told him, like, if I have to come back here one more time, there's going to be murders here. All right, so what is it? Or would you like to? Or no, I say, I'm like, should I go get that ranch, or would you like to think? You guys want to just wait till you think of it when I come back again, so I can make another trip?
Right.
You want to do that? Okay, or should I just stay away from this table for the next 20 minutes?
Right. Well, I mean, who orders a steak, eats half of the steak, and then halfway through the steak goes, "Hey, you got any A1 sauce?"
Absolutely, sir. Tell you what, how about, would you like me to spit on that steak instead for you as well?
I mean, granted, as a server, you anticipate the guest needs, so you don't know everybody's taste. So let's face it, if you get a steak, you're going to bring out A1, Heinz 57, whatever the case may be. If you're a finer dining spot, look, bitch, all you need is salt and pepper.
Right.
And those fuckers probably aren't on the table
Like if we went to Stranahan's and stuff, I'm like, you guys got A1? And they'd just be like, you start beating the crap out of you.
You know,
like,
halfway
oh,
through
shit.
your fries, can I have a side of ranch? Why didn't you fucking ask that at the get-go? So, yes, there are people out there that are assholes. You know, I definitely agree with that. The bad customer, because they're doing it, who knows why, just vindictive, they had a bad day.
They're unhappy with their lives, man. They're trying to find control in something in their life that they have no control of.
You know,
I know this because I used to have no control over my life whatsoever, and I was a total asshole. So, you know.
Well, we fixed that. He found a sock, and it works 3 times a day.
Yep.
But you know what I mean.
Sock's name is Ted. So.
Ted. That's not right. But there's definitely bad servers, and for owners and stuff like that, you know, you got to be even as a server for yourself. If I have to come back to this table after I just ran 20 fucking times, and you've taken 6 bites of your meal, okay, first of all, you need to go, okay, what's wrong with the food that they need all this shit? You know, what's wrong with my service? But same token, I can't get to my other fucking tables to serve them because I'm running like a fucking chicken with my head cut off.
It's now turning to triage, basically, where you're like, I can't save this one, but I could save these other 3. See you later.
You know,
there you go. I've resigned to either getting 10% or nothing at all. All right,
so,
I'm not going to give a shit anymore.
There are definitely bad customers out there, you know, and I hate to say it, and we've said this before, you know, in restaurants, everybody wants something for free. Not everybody, but majority of the clientele that come in, they got a coupon. Oh, you know, this is the special. It's $1 cheaper. You know, BOGOs, whatever else. But I mean, why is it that in our industry it's like that, and there's not another industry out there that's like that?
Right.
I mean, retail. Don't get me wrong. You have Black Friday. You got 10% off deals. Whatever else. You know, and people will go on those days and just dominate those stores. You know, they think they're getting a great deal. But, I mean, in our industry, there's not another... I've yet to see a buy one, get one free steroid shot.
Yeah.
Or a flu shot. Or, you know, hey, the electric company called. They said, we've been paying our bills for 6 months on time, every time. They're going to give us a month for free.
Yeah.
Bullshit. So when and where in society has this been okay?
I wonder if it has something to do with the more competition there is, and I think there is a lot more. I think there's way more food or restaurants in any particular city than there are any one type of industry. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, so definitely. We've already stated that could be a huge thing with it. You know.
I mean, but then
I mean, has Kia said buy one get one free?
Nope. I think I saw a car like, whoa, there was a special that was for 1 day, and I forgot what car
$99 down or whatever.
No, it was buy one get one free, and it was like, I think it might have been Kia or it might have been Hyundai, but it was.
Yeah, I don't know where you saw that at,
dude. It was at this one particular dealership, and I think it's because they had so many, and these cars were not. I mean, Hyundais right now are good, and they're stylish, and they look awesome and stuff. Oh, there's some of them, I think, you know. But when they first came out, holy shit, they were just...
Oh, same thing as Kia. As soon as you got it to, 80 to 100,000 miles, the damn thing would... The wheels would fall off these motherfuckers.
Those things, they were not good. I mean, granted, well, they're bigger now. I don't know if they're better cars, but they...
I think Kia's done a lot since they've started.
Yeah, they've had to improve and stuff, you know. But, yeah, I remember there was... I think they stopped that deal as quickly as possible. Like, it was supposed to be for 1 day.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They just everybody was just crashing those dealerships and stuff. And I'm like, here you go. So
I'll take that one and that one. I personally never seen that. So where was it here?
No, it was in Arizona.
Oh, well.
It had to have been some. They probably were. They were taking a bath on that because they were just trying to get that.
It had to be the middle of summer, and the desert heat was getting to them.
Yep.
See, I've never seen that at all.
It's like in Colorado right after a hailstorm. Oh my gosh, April is a great time to buy a car out here. You're like, oh, it just hailed. All right, cool. I would like to get that 2017 Toyota Corolla, please, for $10,000, bitches. Like,
yeah, you know, but I mean, for the most part, though, on the regular and on the norm, restaurants, grocery stores. Can you think of another business that does it?
No.
I know hotels don't do it.
Whorehouses don't do that. I know you can't get a buy
Shit,
one,
I'd
get
never
one.
leave.
No, they're like, all we get is these fuckers with coupons. This is not the clientele that we're looking
right.
for.
I mean, massage, haircuts. There's very rare, is there buy one get one free in almost any other industry that I can think of.
Right.
The fuck is wrong with people? And people will exploit that shit.
Oh.
And here's what I hate because of it is, and we've talked about this before, restaurant industry's got to be one of the largest industries worldwide. All right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, and I don't care if it's fine dining or not, it's ran, operated, worked by blue collar or poor.
Mm-hmm.
And
even in the nicest restaurant, there's a guy who's broke as shit that's working there.
You got dish guys, you got chefs. Let's face it, unless you've made, you're not making that much. You work a ton of hours, yet we exploit ourselves.
Right.
They
got tired of exploiting the workers, and they just started exploiting their own.
Well, I mean, with all the coupons and whatever else, and independent business and big business and whatever else, and restaurants, you got all these blue collar people, and all these blue collar people come in, blue collar, white collar, whatever, and we just keep exploiting ourselves with these BOGOs and $10 off, and here, take it for free. Here, have my sweat that I'm dying in because I've been on my feet for 14 fucking hours cooking your food, and you're not willing to pay full price?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I think there's a part in the restaurant industry that's I've been equating this to dating as a young male. All right, and when and I'll just,
left.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just speak from my own experience. When I was 22 years old, I thought the last girl that I ever had sex with would be the last girl that I would ever have sex with. And if I did not do everything I could to make that relationship work, I was going to die alone. By the way, I was 22. I had my whole life ahead of me. But everything was the end of the world, right? As I got older, I realized, oh, wait, I have a lot more value. So even if this one gal doesn't like me, I know what type of gals that I'll attract, and I'll find somebody else. Once I did that, once I figured that out, I made that realization, I stopped dealing with craziness. I stopped dealing with abusive relationships. I stopped dealing with a lot of shit that was making me miserable, okay? The restaurant industry needs to come to that same realization. Right now, there's a lot of times I think they act like that 22-year-old dorky guy that's afraid he's never going to get laid again, not realizing that, hey, idiot, you're the one who's making the food. You're the one who has the product that people want. You have a product that people need to in order to survive. You create food. You can do a lot of things that other people can't. So it's granted, yes, you still have to take care of the guests, still have to take the customers, but I think that like, oh, please, I need to give out all these coupons and stuff. Like, would you do that in order to get somebody to fuck you? You know what I mean? Do you need to beg somebody for that? At one point, my answer would have been yes. All right? Let's be honest. I'm older now, and I know...
My game's always been strong.
Yeah. Hence why you worked at much nicer restaurants than I did. But it's the same. To me, it's the same thing where it's like...
I kind of get that.
We're like, oh, please, we have to... There was a guest used to come in. It was this past week. All right? Very, very nice fellow. I'm not going to mention his name and stuff just in case for some reason he ever listens to this because I think he's retired right now. The possibility of him checking this out it's there.
Is there.
It's there. He's a really, really nice guy, but he has a zillion and one opinions about how the restaurant industry should work. I don't know exactly what his experience has been in. I know he hasn't worked in one, if at all, for a long, long time.
Well, yeah, a long time, yeah.
I mean, maybe when he was you, but he was like, well, you have to do this, otherwise you'll lose customers. And I'm like...
And now, this is the same dude that will come in with 10% off, buy one, get one free, a loyalty card, and go, which one of these can I use?
Yeah. So...
Dick.
Yeah. Well, we even thought about it. Like, we actually we had something that, like, we were out of an item, but we had one more in the back. We're asking him, like, hey, should we save for this? And you're like, no. But
fuck him.
Yeah, and like I said, he's a nice guy, but part of you was like, well, you're gonna lose customers. I'm like, 2.5 million. We'll find a way. Well, word of mouth. I'm like, doesn't. So, you know what? I could talk to a bunch of people too. Guess what? You know that, right?
Well,
every restaurant industry owner. Oh, let's segue into the next segment because this is something we kind of disagreed on. We were talking about at the employee meeting, but but you had the right point on it. That person can go out and tell all their friends. Do you not have friends of your own? Have you not been creating relationships with your customer, with your base? Because if you are, and somebody comes along and says, "Yeah, that place sucks," well, if you have enough good people who trust in your product, you trust in your service, and all this stuff, there's a good chance you'll be like, "Really? I've had nothing but good experiences when I go there." I'm like, they can tell when somebody's being an asshole. Is what I'm saying. I don't think I'm being very clear on this, but.
Yeah, I was lost there for a minute.
Okay, so imagine. Let's go back to the dating thing, right? If you have a lot of good friends, right? People who know you.
Yeah, but I mean, how many women are running around going, "Oh, that dick was good,"
if they talk to all their friends,
or vice versa?
You know what? I think it's strangely enough, and this was a fault. I think this is just my observation because I drive Lyft and stuff, and there's a lot of I've driven bachelorette parties before.
Yeah.
Okay. Ladies, you talk way too much about the guys that you're currently banging, okay? And you wonder how come your best friend's trying to bang your husband. All right, there's a reason for that. Like, if me and Thor were going to start talking about the crazy exploits of our sexual past, there's two people that will not be included in any of the stories we tell. My wife or your wife.
Yeah.
That's okay. Ex-girlfriends, girls that you dated like 10 years ago, because it's...
Well, before you're married, though, it's kind of, oh, yeah, great person, whatever else.
Even
to your boy.
To my friend, but I wouldn't talk about the girl that I was currently having. I wouldn't talk about what the sex was like with the girl I was currently with.
All right. You're a better man.
Well, the reason why I did that, because there was a friend of mine, Joe Young, he was awesome. He kept talking, like, for like a week and a half, 2 weeks straight, before the pre-meal, because we all worked at the Pizzeria Uno. He was like, dude, sex with this girl is so amazing, dude. It was just so hot. And he wouldn't shut up about it to the point where I'm like, hey, thanks, man. I was wondering what it was like to fuck your girlfriend. And then he just kind of looked at me. He's like, thank you for saying that, but fuck you. And I'm like, no problem. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, if they handle you right, they handle you right.
Yeah,
that's all that's normally said.
I mean, granted, there's sometimes if you got to be like, guys, listen, I know this is growing. I know I'm breaking the rules, but holy shit.
And what's kind of funny about that is if you're talking, with your boy, whatever else, you trust your boy.
Yeah.
But
just a group of your friends?
True friends. A group of your friends? No, absolutely not.
Right.
But I don't know how many of them would try to take that.
No.
I don't think I've ever had that scenario in my life.
It would have to be like the new guy of the group or something. I mean, I think if somebody has to be like, every guy knows, like, hey, if I try to do that, there's a good chance that my friend is going to try to kill me. Like, you know what I mean? That just goes without saying.
I guess that's the quality in people that we pick to surround ourselves with.
That's true.
Okay.
I just remember the reason why I came with this idea is when I was doing a gig with some of my comedian friends out in Grand Junction. We're all going through these stories and stuff, and one of the things I realized is all these guys were all sharing these stories. None of us are sharing any stories about the girls that we're currently dating.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder. So, okay, getting back.
Yeah, we're off topic.
We're way off topic.
Rewind.
Going off the rails here. So, meaning, okay, now I remember where it came from. Is that if you have a good set of a loyal customer base,
right,
and you don't want to push this, but you can take a bad review, maybe even two, but you still want to keep those to a minimum. So, not that you want to welcome this type of conflict, but you shouldn't run away from it and kowtow to it, I think. So,
as a owner, server, whatever else, if you're, and servers don't really respond to reviews, but
right.
Hey, give us another shot, come in, ask for me, make sure it's right. But same token, as a guest, do you want that? You know what I mean? Do you want to come in the restaurant, be like, hey, Joe said come and talk to him. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I wrote that review. You said, I'm here to give you another shot. Do you want that specialized service that you would get? Because let's face it.
How many boogers and jizz do you want in your meal?
Well, at some places, yes. At some places, absolutely. At other places, though, it's not going to be like that. You're going to get the best server on the floor. You're going to get the best quality of food before it comes to the table. I mean, as a chef, hey, chef, somebody gave us a bad review.
It's a VIP.
Here.
We messed up
right,
last
it's
time.
a VIP, right. Let's hook it up, do it right, and bang it out right.
Yep.
Or do you come in, not say anything, get the whether the same service before or it's better? You know what I mean?
I think for me, if I was going to give a restaurant another shot, I probably wouldn't say anything until after the meal was done.
Right.
Just to be just like, okay. And could have been an off night, maybe not, but still, I mean, granted, you would think that I'd be more sympathetic if a restaurant was having an off night. Not always. Because I could tell, like, all right, they're just having an off night, or, hey, this manager sucks.
Or the cook sucks, or whatever. Yeah, I always, personally I always give restaurant a couple tries before I'm like, nah, I'm never going back.
Yeah, they have to do something pretty shitty,
but for the customer base, do you think that the average customer would want to come back and try it? And I think you're absolutely right. The word of mouth, if they're true friends, because look, I can go tell my friend to go fuck himself, and we're still friends. So if he goes somewhere and says, oh, man, I went here, it was fucking shitty. Really, man? Every time I go there, it's great.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Exactly. Listen, we all know that you're a dickhead when you go out to a happy hour. Like, listen, they're supposed to treat you like royalty. That doesn't mean you act like royalty, you son of a bitch.
Fireball again.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, you get real racist every time you do Fireball. We all know this.
All right. Well, I mean,
until they come up with a non-racist Fireball, like a whiskey, maybe you shouldn't drink it.
Jaeger.
So, like we were saying, like maybe not to be afraid of as far as
and
now the opposite side of that was it was another post. I think Eric Schellenberger was a friend of the podcast, was talking about this on one of the posts, right? This guy that completely went the other direction, owner that basically just ripped into these people. And I saw one too that a friend of mine actually that got they wrote a bad review or said something on Facebook. And so the owner saw it and then basically like, listen, this is why I did all this shit, and basically clowned on him. And granted, I think it was funny, but and even though my friend is a good person, but I saw where the owners was coming from. He did it in a way that, yes, he was being a dick, but he backed up every reason why he was being a dick. And I'm like, I could respect that. But if somebody's like, listen, you asshole, I'm like...
I can respect that, but same token, you're in there for success. You're in there to make money. So sometimes, just like being married with kids, it's my fault. I'm sorry. It's the way it goes. It pushes it forward. You keep moving, whatever else. It's tough.
Yeah.
And should we respond to those things? As a guest, personally, me as a guest, if there's something wrong, and of course I'm in the industry as well as you are, and I'm sure you're almost the same way, it's really got to be fucked up for me to say something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for somebody that's not in the industry, is it hard for them to say something? Because they think they're going to get a cock and balls in their soup? Or
yeah.
I don't know. So all the reviews and whatever else, is that their outlet? How do we change that?
Well, I think it's there needs to be an appropriate response to every situation, right? So, like, if somebody, and actually this is a topic that's been coming up a lot in comedy as well. I'll get to that in a second. If somebody says, like, I really wasn't happy, the service really wasn't that great, like, I'm sorry I had a bad experience. What is it? If this is my email, please email me, direct me. I would like to know about your, So that way, the first thing is that I'm like, hey, you don't have to air everything out on here. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But if you'd rather talk to me more frankly and stuff, you could email me or call me at the restaurant here, right? So that's a casual but still direct response.
Yeah, but ideally you want to get that at the table.
Yes, exactly.
You want them to be heard because for some reason we're fucking dumb human beings and we all like to be heard, and it makes us feel better.
All right. Well, obviously, like I think if something has to be resolved on Yelp, that means that, yeah, that's the absolute last chance that you have to fix it because there was many other things that you could have done before then, like checking. Server could have noticed they weren't eating their food. The manager could have noticed that there was a bunch of stuff that was wrong if they were out on the floor. There was a bunch of things that could have done right before I got that wrong. But let's say if somebody is like, this is absolutely the worst place, and they start making up stuff, you know, and then be like, hey, you know, and then I think an appropriate response, but at the same time even being a bit more firm without being an asshole. And he goes, really? Because the server that you had that evening I've known for 5 years. And I know what kind of things that they would have done and what they didn't do. All right, we the manager at the floor and stuff. I investigated this. We know who you are. I asked about this, and like it goes basically, you know, you could still tell them like, no, you're wrong, and you could still stand up for your thing without being insulting, right? But I'm like, if you want to talk, I'll be here between the hours of such and such and such as I've come up and talk to me face to face.
You know, I mean, if they're completely off base and they're lying about what's going on, because half the time they don't even know who the servers that served them are.
Right.
You know, hey, no offense, guys, this is our address. These are our hours. Give me a break. Come on in. This address, these hours. We'll see you again.
Yeah, exactly. Or, I don't know, if the whole...
I mean, but if they keep drilling it, look, guys, maybe, and
go look and see what other reviews that they've done, because that's the one thing is that you can go back and be like, hey, listen, man, I noticed that you've this is basically what you do. You go and you give a bunch of shitty reviews, and you probably shake down people in order to get free shit. Well, guess what? Go shake another tree. You're not getting anything from here. Well, how about if I contact from all the other places that you've been to and see what their experience has been to try to make you happy? You know, and then I would put like a link for like a psychiatric self-help thing, right? Or like whatever.
And that's why we don't let you review.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, tactfully, hey guys, I appreciate your
I think that is
input.
Tactfully, though.
No, dude.
Like, listen, like
you got to be like, look, guys, I appreciate your input. Maybe our experience at this restaurant isn't your cup of tea.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Maybe you should go to a watering hole someplace. Someplace that's got a spittoon in it, maybe. Like, I don't know.
You still have to keep that professionalism.
I think you could still be firm without and be
putting mental wellness in there
yes,
is not
that is
keeping
exactly
professionalism.
What you need to do. There was, oh my gosh, this guy. It was an old friend of mine that was acting kind of weird, man, and it was like there was something off there, and he just kind of kept taking jabs at my podcast and my comedy and all that, which he had never even seen my comedy, so I have no idea. It's one of those things where, like, why are you doing this? So either way, he's taking these little jabs at me, and then I send him the link to Narcotics Anonymous.
Oh my
Boom,
God!
And I sent it back that it was basically like.
Did he respond?
Yeah, like he called me and left a voice. He was like, "Hey, fuck you, man! You're a guy." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I touch a nerve? Do you not want to do this? Do you not want to trade back and forth? All right, block. I don't need to talk to you anymore, dickhead." Like, it was just one of those things that that was a situation in my life where it would be nice to still be friends with this guy. He was an old friend from a long time ago, but when it comes down to it, like, do I need to have that friend in my life?
Do you need the taint? Yes, I.
Do you know? So
do you need the shit pulling down shit? No,
yeah,
you need people to inspire and push and grow. And yes, I don't need a.
Yeah, no. He proceeded to leave bad reviews wherever he could about anything that I did. So I'm like, all right, well, that's why I don't feel bad about it.
Wow.
But I think now for me, because I'm a fairly creative person and a comic, I would try to make these nasty comebacks as funny and as ironic as possible because I think it's hilarious, basically. The guy apparently from the Facebook or the Facebook thing, he wasn't trying to be funny. He was just trying to be hurtful, and it's a fine line. It's kind of like when you see a comic deal with a heckler, where it's kind of it can go either way.
It is a fine line.
You could either be like, hey, you got to be forceful enough to try to get them to pipe down or to shut up, Or if you go just a little bit too hard, then suddenly everybody's like, "Oh, we got to defend this asshole who's making fun of this other asshole."
Now you just butthurt everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And they jump and kick and scream and
What
so
are you gonna do?
and so for us normal people, we just don't do that. Keep it very professional. You know, the what was you know, I'm sure David's a huge fan. Andy Kaufman, better be hated than loved, right? One of his sayings. So yeah, let's try not to humiliate people. I don't know. You humiliate me. If you're a friend, I'm all right with it. If I don't know you, I'm going to pick you up by your fucking neck and shit down your fucking throat.
Right? You're like, all right, well, let's escalate this, I guess.
Right. If it's a buddy of mine, all right, I'll take it because I'm sure I humiliated him once before.
Oh, yeah. But this is the weird thing is that when it comes to, like, social media, and this is going into a little bit more of the comedy thing and stuff, is that Yelp was an interesting idea in theory, I think, when I see people restaurants getting shaken down by review sites to get stuff taken down. I think that's appalling, right? But when it comes down to it, is that the reviewers aren't the ones who are they're not the ones making the food. They're not the ones cleaning the restaurant. They're not the ones that are paying the electric bill, the produce bill. They're not the one washing the dishes. They're a customer, and but the best review or feedback that a restaurant will get is in their cash register. If they're doing a shitty job, the money will not come in, right? It will eventually just wither away. Comedy, and one of the things like Ty Rivera was talking about on his podcast, Unbothered, if you guys have never checked it out, it's an awesome podcast. He was talking about, he's like, I'm sick and tired of these people that think that comedy is like, that their Yelp reviews fucking matter. It doesn't. He's like, I'm an artist. I'll create whatever the hell I want, all right? If you don't think it's funny, don't laugh. But to try to sit there and get me to change my material, to try to get me to conform to what you want, and he was like, No, I'm the one. This is my life, my thoughts. I'm going to put it out there. So, in that respect, I think that
it's like trying to get Bob Ross to cut his hair.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I don't think you should paint so many happy trees. Trees are offensive to me. What about those of us who live in deserts? All right, and it's like.
No, I get that.
You know?
I think that's very, very legit, very true.
So it's great that initial feedback with technology that's come in. I think that's awesome. But let's see, like, what's the actual value of it, right? When it comes to the reviewers, they think that their reviews, I'm going to throw out just as a number, right, that each review is worth $100. My reviews are worth this much.
Right.
And the restaurant industry has yet to go, like, I think $5. What?
Well,
no, I'll give you $5 for a review. Like, no, it's worth $100. Nope, $5. And then somewhere you guys will find some spot in the middle, right? But
ideally.
But right now, I think it's social media running amok. Sorry, our cat has joined the.
Now that you bring this whole reviewing thing to a light, what were your thoughts on what I posted on the site? Okay, so in England, you remember this?
Vaguely, please.
Okay, it's called The Shed or something like that. Oh. This guy wrote reviews professionally for businesses on Travelocity. I guess, we're in the States, so we use other things. Travelocity, I guess, is a bigger thing. In England, he started writing reviews about a place called the Shed or something like that. That didn't exist. Within, 6 months, he beat out 18,000 restaurants, including 5-star Michelins and whatever else with chefs and all this bullshit over reviews and getting his friends to post and all these people wanted to go and it was crazy. The place never existed. He ended up throwing it together at his house, which was a 1-bedroom fucking shithole in his yard. He put a fucking table on top of his roof and had paid actors or something there. All right, and ended up doing a night shift service microwave or what was microwavable lasagnas and like top ramen soup poured into a cup with a little, what did he put on top, like parsley or something.
Right.
Regardless, this guy manipulated everything to where, okay, we as a people are fucking morons to read the reviews. Mm-hmm. Well, not so much us, but our motherland, England, dumbasses. Everybody's going there. I gotta go. Create your own damn opinions about a restaurant. And this place never existed. He threw it together for one night, and people, like, he blindfolded people walking through his fucking yard with the grass was fucking up, and there was no heat, and just all this bullshit. And these people are like, great, I want to come back.
Right.
So, I mean, come on. Reviews are just fucking bullshit. Half the time, they're paid fucking writers. You know, and this guy doing this in England, one of the biggest, London, England, one of the biggest food cities in the world, to go from 1,800,000 fucking restaurant to #1 within 7 months, and nobody's ever been there, but everybody's read the reviews, is amazing in itself. And I don't know about you. I mean, I'm not a very well-educated person. I'm mediocre, and I've been working my whole life. But I'm not that fucking stupid.
Did you wait in line for Phantom Menace?
No.
Oh, really? I did. All right. Well, you're right. You're not that fucking stupid. All right. You heard it here first, folks. Thor, not that fucking stupid.
I mean, but seriously, let's look at reviews. Form your own opinion. Just because somebody doesn't like something doesn't mean that you're not going to like something.
No, that's true. And that's another thing. I think it's people are afraid. I mean, there's got to be. What? Why are you trying to get the slow paw? I know you want to walk over here. This is my cat is just like slowly trying to creep over across Thor. And see, now look, she's going to stay that way for a little bit. And now I'm going to pretend that, oh, I'm not moving over here. What do you do?
Why do I have the ass end of the cat?
Yeah. What? All right, I'm trying to do a podcast right here.
Yeah, I don't care. Daddy pet me.
Jesus. All right.
So anyways, digressing. You know, somebody's car or camera or whatever else. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some products out there that are absolute shit, and everybody that's tried them doesn't really like them.
Right.
Chia Pet. For one, the Pet Rock.
Right. Cocaine you pick up at a swap mart.
That could be good.
Yeah, that's good.
Depends on the swap meet that
you gotta
you're
read
in.
the reviews of it first.
But I mean, you know, some things work for others, other things don't. So why are we hooked on this review shit?
I think people like to feel connected, but they don't necessarily know how to connect to different communities just yet. So they want to go with the lowest common denominator about any particular opinion. It's always easier to gravitate towards something negative than something positive, I think. You know, so
personally, me, stop being sheep.
Yeah, find a hobby is what you need to do. Delve inward, become more of of who you want to be. But that's a whole other podcast. Actually, I have a podcast dedicated to that. DisJointed Pod. Check it out.
Way to sell it.
Yeah, right? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, watch it. I don't give a shit.
I could slip this in there. Nobody will notice.
Yeah, exactly.
Busted. Anyway, so, gotta love it.
Right.
All right. What else we got?
I think...
is that a good note?
I think that's a good note to probably end on.
He thinks it's a good note as he's slipping advertisements in there.
Exactly. And here, you gotta get down. That's not down. All right.
It's not a dog.
Yeah, I know. 1 second.
So, as we try to conclude this, and David plays with his pussy.
As his pussy gets angry, holy shit. It was a weird cat. All right. Either way. So let's see. What did we
accomplish today?
Absolutely nothing. Much like every other shift that we work.
All right. On that note,
no, but we were talking about reviews and stuff, and as far as like how to stand up for yourself and stand up for your restaurant.
How to keep the professionalism.
Exactly. How to stand up for your employees. How to stand up for the food, the vision that you created. You know, without being a tyrant and being an asshole about it. Right. So there's that. We've learned that to never trust any reviews from London.
That's lovely.
I'm just saying. I'm not specifically actually not the entire.
We should try that here.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if we could.
Yelp. Let's dupe Yelp.
Yeah, exactly. There was what did we start out on? Oh yeah, what customers to listen to, what not to.
Bad customers, yes.
The bad customer, knowing which one. By the way, if you run
into
you all
know who they are.
If you run into one, like it goes the same, that saying that holds true here. If you run into one bad customer, chances are you only ran into one bad customer in that particular day. If you run into 5 bad customers that particular day, there's a good chance you might have some issues.
Or you suck.
It could
at
be
what
you
you
suck.
do.
Let's be honest. You got to be brutal with yourself.
You have to look in the mirror.
Yes. All right, guys. I think that should be doing it for us.
Should be doing it for us. Clocking out. Thor Markey.
Dave Germain. You guys
have a good one.